mathematicians. Today I'm going to dive into the topic of subtracting polynomials, and I'm going to show you some easy steps that you can take when you are subtracting a polynomial. I'm also going to show you step by step two methods that you can use when you are subtracting a polynomial. Now, what is a polynomial? A polynomial is an algebraic expression with one or more terms, usually with the symbol of addition or subtraction that is separating those terms. And let me break down the polynomial for you. So the big word here, poly, means many. So we have polynomial, all right? And from this, we have the first one is the monomial, which we know it has one term, and that one term could be an x, it could be an x squared, could be an xy, it could be a 3y, or it could be just the monomial constant, which is just a number, which could be 7 or 5. The key way to remember the difference here is that the prefix, which is mono, which means one, all right? Mono, which means one. And so we will go into the next polynomial, classifying it, and we have binomial. And so we have the binomial there, and that is comprised of two terms. So we have two terms here. In this case, the two terms could either have a subtraction sign in between, or it could have an addition sign that is in between. An example of that would be, say, 3x minus 2, or you could have 4x squared plus 5x, or it could simply be 3x squared minus xy. And that is coming from the prefix there, means bi, which means 2. So that's an easy way for you to remember the difference between the monomial, binomial. Now let's get into the third one. And the third one is called a trinomial. Now the trinomial has three terms. And these three terms are going to be subtracted or added, as we stated before. So you're going to have either a subtraction sign or an addition sign, or it could be both, separating the three terms. So an example of the three terms, we would have, say, x squared minus 4x plus 3. Notice an addition or subtraction sign is in between each of these three terms. You can also give a different example. It could be 3x squared y minus 4xy plus y. Notice here, these three terms are different. You cannot add these three terms because one has the exponent, one doesn't have the exponent, but it has the other variable, which is x there, and then the other term just have the variable y, but you cannot add the y with the xy. So that is a key thing. And the prefix here is tri, and tri we know means 3. So this is a key way of you remembering the different types of polynomials. In terms of polynomials, we always say to you that when you're writing it, you should write it in standard form. In terms of standard form, you should always write your polynomial in standard form if it is not given to you in standard form. But in most cases, it will be given to you in standard form. But there's also a topic where the teacher might say to you, either classify the polynomial and write them in standard form, and also talk about the highest degree. If you're given an expression like this where you have 5x to the third power minus 4y plus 3x squared y plus 5, you will notice that this is not in the standard form. So you will have to write it in standard form. You notice, yes, the first term is in the right place. So you have your 5x to the third power, but you must put this over and make it be your second term, and you are going to bring your plus sign that is in front of it with you. So you have 3x squared y, and then you have your minus 4y and plus 5. The monomial constant always comes last, or you can say you always write that last when you write it in standard form. I'm going to show you two methods of subtracting a polynomial, and I'm going to start up first by giving you the first example, which is 18x squared plus 4x minus 16, and I want you to subtract 15x squared plus 4x minus 13. In this example, we are going to subtract the polynomial. And notice you have parentheses here. I'm going to first show you how to do this, the horizontal method, and there is one key thing that you have to do. So we know horizontally is going across. So if you're doing this horizontally, well, we're going to get rid of the parentheses. So it's like multiplying by an invisible one here to get rid of the parentheses. So we are first using the distributive property. So we are going to multiply this out, and we're going to get 18x squared plus 4x minus 16. And then we have our 15x squared here. We have our subtraction sign here. So we have to use the distributive property, and now we're going to pretend that we are multiplying it by a negative 1. So we have that, and this is going to be negative 15x squared, and then negative 1 times 4x is going to be negative 4x, and negative 1 times negative 13 is going to be positive 13 here. So now we have this. So what I suggest for you to do next is that you're going to combine your like terms, and we can identify our like terms here. So we have this, we have the circle, we must bring that together. So we have 18x squared minus 15x squared. The next thing is we're going to look at the other terms that we have, and we notice that we have a plus 4x and a minus 4x, so we're going to put them together, and the minus 4x there. And then the last thing that we have here is our monomial constant, and I'm going to put that in a triangle, right? I want to get the operation sign with it, so I'm going to have negative 16 plus 13. And we are going to simplify that. So 18x squared minus 15x squared is going to be 3x squared, and this is going to be nothing, right? So 0x, so you can put 0x if you want to do that, and then the last part is going to be simply negative 16 plus 13 is negative 3. But don't leave your answer as this. It's just a guide for you, for those students who are not very versed at math, so that's just a guide. So your final answer now, we're going to get rid of this 0x, is going to be 3x squared minus 3. So this is what your answer is going to be. This is the horizontal method. Now I'm going to show you how to use the same problem, and we're going to use the vertical method. So the vertical method, you're going to set it up vertically. Same concept, but you're going to set it up vertically. So let me draw a line here, and 18x squared plus 4x minus 16, and now I have my negative sign here because I'm going to have my 15x squared and plus 4x and minus 13. So with this is a vertical method, so you notice that you have your line there. What you're going to do now is that because you have the negative outside of the parentheses here, you know that, okay, this is will have the negative, so you can drop that. But this plus term here, you're going to change it to minus, because a plus with a minus is going to give you a minus, and then this is a minus and a minus. this you're going to change it into a positive. So the key step here, or the key technique that you have to remember when you're doing it vertically, change the operation sign. This still remains the minus here. It doesn't change. Okay, so change your operation sign. Now you can go ahead and do this. So now you have negative 16 plus 13 is going to be negative 3. Here you have 4x minus 4x is going to be nothing. So you can put nothing there, 0x. Alright, and then you have 18x squared minus 15x, and that is going to give you 3x squared. Now, you're not going to leave your answers that, because you don't want the 0x there, because 0x is literally nothing. So all you have to do next after this is simply write it as 3x squared minus 3 as your answer. So that's the vertical method. Not all cases you will end up with 0x, but I just wanted to show you an example of the 0x, because that do happens at times when you're subtracting polynomials. You will end up with a 0x in some cases. Alright? So now there is something else that I want to tell you, but the most important thing as I piggyback there is that when you are using the horizontal method, don't forget, if you're subtracting here, it's like you're multiplying by negative 1 there, because it's a negative, because you have the subtraction sign. So the next example that I want to do is 9x squared plus 3x minus 4, and we are going to subtract this, take away 5x squared plus 6 from this. Once again, you notice that you have parentheses there. To get rid of the parentheses, you're going to use the distributive property, and you're going to put in the 1 in front to get rid of the parentheses. So if I multiply this, now I will have 9x squared plus 3x. This always remains the same. Nothing changes. Alright? Nothing changes when you are working with the first parentheses. But the second one, once you have this subtraction sign, then it's going to change the whole game, no matter what. But if you had a plus sign here, if you were adding, then you won't have to change anything. The signs are going to be the same, and you're just going to multiply it by the 1. But remember now, once you are subtracting, it's going to change the whole game if you have, whether it's subtracting by a binomial or a trinomial, and you have an opposite sign here, it's going to change because you're using distributive property. So once you have that, now you end up with minus 5x squared, and that is going to be minus 6. So you can go ahead and combine your like terms. If you are versed on math, you should look on this and know off the top that, okay, you have the 5x squared here, 9x squared, that is going to simply be 4x squared, right? These are your two that you're going to subtract, and then the next part that you have nothing here to combine with this term over here. This side is simply 3x, so you have to do your plus 3x there. But now you have your monomial constant to deal with, and with the monomial constant, you will notice that you have your minus 4 and your minus 6. So when you combine your minus 4 and your minus 6, that is going to give you negative 10. Alright, you already have the symbol in front of it to show that you're minusing. Please do not make a mistake and add it and tell me, oh, it's going to be 2. That would be incorrect. If you are in doubt, you can use the vertical method, and the vertical method would look like this, where you set it up, you still have your 9x squared plus the 3x minus 4, and then now you have your minus 5x squared down here. You have no middle term, alright, because this is a binomial, so you can put in simply your 0x, Alright, 0x there, plus 0x, placeholder. And now you have the 6 that you had up there, right, plus 6 here. But because now, remember, you change the signs, right? So this becomes minus, this becomes minus. You draw your line. This is already, the minus here is fine. So negative 4 minus 6 is negative 10. This, you just simply 3x minus 0x. Obviously, any number minus 0 is still going to be that number. So it's going to be positive 3x there. And then you do the 9x squared minus 5x squared, which is going to be 4x squared. And that is going to be your answer. And I always tell my students, box your answer or put a cloud around your answer. So as you know me by now, I never just give you two basic simple examples. There's always something that I always want to point out in my lessons when I'm giving my examples. And so I'm going to throw in a word problem now. And this is very vital because some students will make the mistake. So let's get right into my next example, which is a word problem. So the problem says subtract 9x plus 3 from 6x minus 14. Now, this is very important. You have to read the words properly. It says to subtract this from this. Don't go ahead and put down your 9x plus 3 first. No, that would be incorrect. And that would lead you into the incorrect answer. So you cannot do that. You have to simply do as it says. Keywords there, subtract this from this. So you're going to write down the 6x minus 14 first, and then you're going to subtract 9x plus 3 from this. Now, once again, this is the vertical method. You have to change your sign here. All right, so this now is going to be a negative sign here. So 14 minus 3, all right, is going to be negative 17. Do not make the mistake and don't change your sign here. It is very important. 6x minus 9x is going to be negative 3x. Yes, negative, so don't make that mistake. A lot of you students will end up making that mistake, and that is where the problem is. Okay, so please be very careful. And if you choose to do this using the horizontal method, right, you have to do your 6x minus 14 first and say taking away 9x. But remember now, I will put a parenthesis here when you're doing that, right? And so you will rewrite it as this. 6x minus 14. Use your 1 there, so it's negative 1 minus 9x. And then you're using the distributive property. So negative 1 times 3 is going to be negative 3 right here. If you don't do that, you're going to run into an incorrect answer. So it's very important that you use a parentheses there when you're doing that. You can also could have used a parentheses here too when you're doing it here as a guide, but if you're pretty versed on math, then you know you have to change your symbol there. So now we're going to combine our like terms. We're either going to get all of these together. So I have my 6x minus my 9x. This is an easy way to do it. And I'm going to go to the next one. Notice I'm using different colors and also different symbols. Use circles first, and now I'm going to use the rectangle for my next two like terms. So negative 14 minus 3, putting these together, negative 14 minus 3 is negative 17, and 6x minus 9x is negative 3x, and that is your correct answer. put a cloud or box your answer. Say for instance, you didn't use the from first, right? And you write your problem and you did your 9x plus 3. Subtract 6x minus 14. A lot of you students are going to get this wrong. First and foremost, you'd have to change your sign here to plus if you did that. But now you're going to end up with positive 17 here. And this is going to be simply 3x plus 17. And that would be incorrect. Even if you didn't change your sign here and you did 9x plus 3 and you have your minus 6x minus 14, you will end up with negative 11, and then this is going to be 3x. You notice those are incorrect. So you cannot do that. These would be incorrect. Always be careful when you have problems like these that are given to you in word form, because that's where the catch is. And you have to be very careful. Read the problem properly and write what it states in the question. It says subtract this from this, not the reverse. So do not start out with this first and then taking away this. You'll end up with the incorrect answer. Now that you know all these strategies and what to do when you're given a word problem that has to do with subtracting polynomials, I hope that you will not just watch this video, you will go back and watch this video of mine, and that will also help you to advance in math. You need math every day. We use math and English every day. They are a couple. One cannot go without the other. They are like walking down the street. You need your legs to walk, and you also need your eyes to see where you are walking. So that is the analogy right there. Guess what? If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And don't keep this vital information to yourself. Share it with others around the world so they too can learn how to be better at math and advance with adding and subtracting polynomials. Leave a comment and don't forget to hit that like button if you like what you see. And I'm quite sure you do. And thank you for watching, and see you soon on other videos to come. Bye now. Cheers.